Oh, and Michelle Obama, the more she speaks on this podcast, the more I just want to look at all of you out there, including you, Mr. Clay, who are Michelle Obama's going to run. If Michelle Obama had run, everybody would have seen what I knew all along, which is she is not a person that people would want to vote for. I'll just say this: the more you know about Michelle Obama, the less you like Michelle Obama as a public figure. Yes, sir. I could take Clay's already ready to throw down on it.
I actually feel sad and sorry for Barack Obama every time one of her new podcasts comes out because she sounds like an awful person to live with. And the entire podcast, first of all, it's very strange. She's doing a podcast with her brother, weirdly. And look, I hope everybody has really good, relationships with your siblings, but the duo of them is very awkward. He's kind of sitting there. I was watching clips, God forbid, this morning, and he's sitting there and she's interviewing Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And they're both Elaine from Seinfeld, Selena Meyer from Veep. She's a very talented comedic actor. She's very funny. But they're both whining about how hard life is in America for women. And I think that Julie Louis-Dreyfus is the daughter of a billionaire and has made hundreds of millions of dollars as a comedic actress. I don't think that her life is particularly challenging. I'm sorry. And I don't think that Michelle Obama's life is very challenging at all. In fact, I think they actually represent what
Yes.
incredible accomplishments are possible for people in American life who are
I'll
able
tell
to
you
achieve
this.
unbelievable success.
I'll tell you this. I've come across this, now that I have some gray in my beard and I'm coming upon I'm in my fifth decade on this earth. One thing that I've seen, Clay, is people who have been given a tremendous amount and have not had to earn very much uh, tend to be a really toxic combination of incredibly arrogant and incredibly insecure. And you see that with a lot of celebrities. You see that with a lot of people who have either been handed things because of who their parents are, or perhaps they were able to maneuver within the system without ever really feeling like they earned earned it. They pulled an Elizabeth Warren, if you will, and somehow managed to just get. And they know deep down somewhere they didn't get where they are because of how talented or how hardworking, whatever it may be. So that creates a bitterness. Maybe it's a subconscious bitterness. But one thing that is a defining characteristic of Michelle Obama's content recently is there is just a seething bitterness
Yeah.
that comes across all the time, which you would just say, wow, how much more of a charmed life really could you lead than to be the former first lady worth 100 million plus, all the stuff, all the celebrities kissing up to you and everything all the time. But like I said, I think that she's lacking at some level in the self confidence that comes from earning things. People know the difference between being handed something and earning something.
And also even the decision to do a podcast seems strange to me. And what I mean by that is for better or worse, I think you reveal yourself in audio
Yeah.
over time. And even if they're editing that and even if they're adjusting that, there is a schedule and a regularity to it. And she was very protected in the media. Almost nobody said anything negative about her at all because she really didn't speak out publicly that often.
I think if you had said, Clay, during the Obama administration, what you said on this show on the air about Michelle Obama,
Being a
I
brat,
yes,
bitch. I mean,
yeah, I
but I
I I
think, I
I
mean,
think that there would have been that like Mediaite and Media Matters would have had an absolute meltdown and been demanding that you are y-
canceled and all these things. Yeah, but I
all
mean,
of the things. Yes.
you may be right, but I mean, I think again, when you react to what she says, she is an entitled, bitchy brat, is what she comes across on that podcast as. Now, you can disagree. You can call me an entitled, bitchy brat if you want. That's fine. But when you listen to her, the difference between
Yeah.
what she had a public persona of and what the reality of her is is so seismic that I think it shows you how protected she had to be in the
Clay.
larger media
Well,
ecosystem.
let's tie this all together. Oh, you mean that the media was all in lockstep trying to tell us how amazing, how brilliant, how they would routinely say the most beautiful first lady, just on the matter of physical beauty, which is a very subjective category, right? The most beautiful first lady, the most brilliant, wonderful.
Is it fair to say
You,
Melania Trump is objectively the most beautiful first lady that has ever I mean, she was a
I mean,
supermodel. I mean, I
I
don't even know how you would
there have been a
argue
lot of
against
nice
that.
looking first ladies, but yeah, Melania Trump was a person who
None of
made a
them
living
were
based on
actual
how.
supermodels before they
Yes.
became I mean,
Well,
objectively,
people are
I
going
think
to yell at you
Melania
and say
Trump
she wasn't a supermodel, but she was a successful international model. So, and if you
Yeah,
can
and
make a
I guess the
living off
question
of.
is, what is the official definition of supermodel? If you can make a living off being beautiful by having your photo taken, which to my knowledge no other first lady ever has, I think objectively you would have to say she is the most beautiful first lady there's ever been. Yet she doesn't get on Vogue, and Jill Biden's on Vogue like 3 different times, right?
What I was going to say to tie this together, though, is they created an entirely false perception of Michelle Obama, almost like they were able to create an entirely false perception that Joe Biden didn't have dementia, or at least they pretended that that perception was something they bought into. All right, I was going to talk about how a judge in New Hampshire has certified a class action to stop Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. We'll have to get to that in a minute because you know what? We went down this pathway, so let's finish it off here to start. Michelle Obama, Julia Louis Dreyfus on the podcast. How difficult it is to be a woman in America. Play 24.
Women, we have so many landmines and barriers and don'ts and limitations. I mean, Craig, you're the guy at the table, but I think it's important for all guys listening, especially men raising daughters, to realize that difference. And that thing that inadvertently, as you are loving and raising these beautiful girls, there are so many rules
baked
that
in,
make us small.
baked in without
Yeah.
our knowing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wish I could. I mean, I remember people saying, "Oh, well, she's a female doctor,"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
as opposed to just
Mm.
she's a doctor.
I
Clay,
well,
who is she talking about at the end?
but how about poor Craig sitting there? I mean, like he's like, this is the most miserable conversation I've ever had to
Who's-
be involved in. Did you just hear him say there? Mm.
Yeah,
Like he's
whiny feminism,
oh
which
my
really
God.
all postmodernist feminism or whatever, all left wing feminism is whiny and inherently kind of tragic and soul crushing when taken to its logical extremes. First, guys can sit around here too and just complain endlessly about how many your life, my life, every guy listening to this. We could sit here, we could do whole podcast shows, whatever, on all the doors slammed in our faces, all the people telling us that we're not good enough, all the disappointments we've had. That's life.
Yeah.
It's life if you want to be competing for anything, is that you're going to have constant disappointments. You're going to have constant people, a lot of things. You want to talk about things being rigged against you. How about being a non legacy, non recruited athlete, white guy trying to get into an elite college from about 1980 until a year ago? How about things being? I know people say, "Oh, it's just so hard. You're crying." Well, really? Because the system actually was rigged against those people and against Asians too. Asians were also rigged in that system, but rigged
I
against.
I look at it and I think to myself, she has had one of the most improbable journeys in the history of America. She and her husband. And to me, gratitude is the most powerful of all emotions. And she seems, this is why I said she's kind of a whiny, entitled, bratty bitch. She seems to have no gratitude for the incredible good fortune that she has had
Well,
in this country.
I also think that what we have seen, and this ties into where the Democrat Party is right now, the Obama brand, political brand, is also not some. There was always this belief for the 4 years of Biden. Just wait until like Obama opens up the arsenal of Obamaism, and all of a sudden it's going. No, actually, Obama egregiously lied about Trump, as we all know, right before the 2024 election, to the point where even Joe Rogan came out and said, I mean, he's just lied. He's just a liar when it really counts. And I think people have realized, well, more people have realized that the signature so-called achievement of Obama's 8 years was this healthcare law that was supposed to bring down costs, and it has completely failed. It is an abject failure. And Michelle Obama is not a likable person. So when you add these things together, the Democrats have lost the Clinton brand, the Biden brand, and the Obama brand all at the same time, and all at a time when the Republican Party has never been more unified behind a brand, and that is Donald Trump's.
Also, remember the clip where she was like, I won't even let my people pack my dresses. I can't get over that. I don't know how many women out there listen to us right now have a team that packs their dresses when they go on vacation. Like, what a weird thing to say on your podcast. And by the way, something to think about as we go to break. Whatever you think about Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, does listening to their wives speak actually make you like them more? Because they have to put up with Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama. I do.
You're being
I
far too charitable here, my
I
friend.
think
Far
I
too
think that
charitable.
Barack Obama and Bill Clinton are actually face-to-face likable people. I don't know that Hillary Clinton and Michelle
They can
Obama
play the
are.
game. They can play the game. I don't have any sympathy for either of those guys on
I do.
this.
I do have a.
They-
They have to live with that. They
well,
have to
yeah, they made
imagine
their
what
bed and
they
now they
actually
have
have.
to sleep in it. I get it, but still.
Literally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe as a married man, I'm just too sympathetic. It's my thing. Too much empathy. That's what people say about me all the time.